Thank you, Madam Deputy President. I support the motion that domestic, family and sexual violence is an emergency that requires a whole of government and community response. In recent times, we have seen an uptick in its prevalence, and I'm not convinced we are addressing it properly and with the appropriate urgency. At the moment, on average, one woman a week is murdered by her current or former partner. Intimate partner violence is the greatest health risk factor for women aged between 25 and 44. An estimated 1 in 6 women aged 18 years and over have experienced violence by a partner since the age of 15. It's a scourge on our society, and we need to listen to the relevant stakeholders. Domestic Violence New South Wales says we need 750 transitional homes so women who find a bed in a shelter have somewhere to go next. This is not a partisan issue. It's an issue which is relevant to everyone in this House. We have always maintained the government's response to violence against women needs to be holistic and fair, broader than just bail reform, but bail reform is an important start, and the time to act is now. This year, there's been a surge in domestic violence-related incidents in New South Wales, according to data from the New South Wales Bureau of Crime Statistics and Research. Current data identifies a 3.6% increase in domestic violence-related incidents from January 2019 to December 2023. The total number of females aged from under 18 to 60 affected by domestic violence-related offences is now at 25,878. I come from a place of personal experience, but not as a victim survivor, but someone in a previous life before entering Parliament who worked as a community corrections officer. Allow me to tell you about 2 perpetrators I supervised who were both subject to domestic violence electronic monitoring, or DVEM, as one of the conditions of their parole. Let's call them Bill and Bob. I directed both of them to attend the Equips Domestic and Family Violence program, which is a 10-week program for 6 hours a day per week. Bill attended every week, completed the program and was mostly compliant. But Bob was a different story. Bob always had excuses for why he couldn't attend, which put him in breach of one of the conditions of his parole order. He notoriously flouted his orders. He wouldn't charge his device, was often uncontactable, and would travel close to areas he was not supposed to be, always testing the boundaries. He was difficult to supervise and had attitude. Typically, he refused to take personal responsibility and always blamed someone else for his behaviour. He even blamed me when he breached the condition of his parole order, which forced me to submit a breach report to the State Parole Authority. Bill completed his order, had the device removed and continued to engage with psychological services. The point of the story is that Bob finished his order and had the DVEM device removed, but I didn't feel comfortable knowing that we couldn't monitor him whether he stayed away from the exclusion zone. So I notified the police, advising that during supervision he had not engaged in behaviour change programs. He had not complied with his order, and he was now not being monitored. Sure enough, he caught the next train and was on the doorstep of his ex-partner before the end of the next day. Fortunately, the police were nearby, wherein they arrested and charged Bob for a breach of the ADVO and other charges. These programs are designed to change men's behaviour, but the sad fact is they don't work if the men don't comply. Domestic violence electronic monitoring does work if and when it's complied with. We need to expand the use of electronic monitoring devices because we know that they work and they cut the risk of domestic violence offending by 32%. I want real change to happen, and that is about addressing the belief and the attitude of the perpetrators. I conclude by saying the New South Wales opposition is committed to working constructively across the Parliament to ensure meaningful action is taken to reduce and prevent domestic and family violence across our state.